Hello there everybody, Playtendo Guy here, and today I'll be reviewing Star Fox Zero, Nintendo's big reboot of the popular space shooter franchise which borrows a lot from the past, is here to show Wii U owners a good time. But do these troublesome motion controls really ruin the game? Let's find out. It's my review of Star Fox Zero. I think it's probably best to get the giant elephant out of the room first and talk about these damn motion controls, which people are really not happy about. The gamepad acts as a cockpit view whilst the TV shows you third-person view, which is normal for a Star Fox game. You hold the gamepad up to the screen and move the gamepad around to aim. You can get away without looking at the gamepad most of the time, but the game keeps pestering you to keep looking at the gamepad instead of the screen. At certain times you must look at the gamepad to aim more precisely in certain boss fights. I'm going to put my hands up and say I absolutely hated the motion controls in Splatoon, so when I heard about the motion controls in Star Fox Zero, it did put me off. But surprisingly, I picked them up really quickly and I was shooting and zipping around Corneria with no problem. When the R-Wings entered all range mode though, that's when things get a bit problematic. See, with normal Star Fox stages, you're not moving around in a full 3D environment, so the motion controls work fine. When in all range mode, trying to aim with the gamepad does get incredibly annoying as you're swinging around trying to find your target and it may result in you crashing into buildings. When it comes to the boss fights, some of them work fine, but the ones where your vehicle enters all range mode just makes all simple boss fights much harder and much longer than what they should be. Star Fox Zero button controls, however, are fine. The left analog stick controls the vehicle, the right stick controls the speed and lets you do the all-important barrel roll, the ZR button shoots, the ZL button locks onto enemies, the R button fires bombs, X and Y lets you do a somersault and U-turn, whilst Y lets you center the reticle, so if you feel the motion controls are off you can do that, and the A button lets you transform your R-Wing into the all-new Chicken Walker. You can get away without using these motion controls as there is an option to have them only turn on when you start shooting. So they can be disabled but not entirely as you need them for certain parts of the game. So if you're struggling with the controls, try that. Overall, I don't mind the motion controls. I don't think they're as game-breakingly bad as some people say. I think they're quite fun to use on some levels, but the levels where you can move freely in 3D, it can get incredibly annoying. But thankfully there is an option to restrict the motion controls a bit for those who hate it, though it would have been nice if there was an option to turn them off entirely, like Splatoon. Now that's out of the way, let's talk about the game. Star Fox Zero is a reboot that takes inspiration from the most popular and arguably the best game in the franchise, Star Fox 64, to try and make the game a success. Those hoping for a new Star Fox story will be disappointed as it's pretty much the same setup as 64, which is by all means not a bad thing. The story goes like this: a crazed scientist called Andros has gone rogue and threatens to destroy the Lilac system. So it's up to Fox McCloud and his team of talking animals and spaceships to take him down. And that's pretty much it. It's not a taxing story and it doesn't need to be. The script, however, is actually pretty good. While the game does include some lines from Star Fox 64, there's plenty of laughs to be had with the banter between the main characters. The Saturday morning cartoon style of the script is part of the charm of this franchise. Like 64, you travel between planet to planet shooting enemies, doing barrel rolls and listening to the banter between the pilots to ultimately defeat Andros and save the galaxy. And just like in Star Fox 64, Zero can be completed within about 3 to 5 hours. But before you get those pitchforks out, the game is highly replayable with plenty of new levels and endings to find and unlock. You are talking around a good 10 to 15 hours to see everything in the campaign, and that's not a bad thing. Zero features plenty of different vehicles, from the returning Landmaster to the new ability of transforming your R-Wing into a walker. These vehicles are really fun to use and it does add a fair bit of variety to the game. There is also a stealth mission. Yes, you've heard me, a stealth mission, and you know what? I enjoyed it. In the Gyro Wing mission you must avoid spotlights to try and hack a base. It's a slow paced mission and you regularly have to look at the touchscreen as the Gyro Wing has an adorable little robot called Direct Eye who has to hack terminals. The slow pace of the mission goes well with the hecticness of other levels. I enjoyed it. Those who have played Star Fox 64 will probably have fond memories of the multiplayer dogfights, and the last Star Fox Zero does not contain this type of multiplayer, which is a massive shame as online dogfights would have been amazing to play with other players around the world. While it's not all doom and gloom, there is a co-op multiplayer where one player uses a Wii remote and nunchuck to steer the R-wing, while the other player uses the gamepad to shoot enemies. It's a fun idea that works quite well, and it's nice to have an extra player to join you, but would it ever hurt Ninty to include in multiplayer mode? One thing that comes as a surprise is the trainer mode. From the sounds of it, it doesn't sound all that appealing, and many players will probably skip the mode entirely. But don't, as this mode includes several score-chasing missions that will provide you with a fun little challenge. As it's a Nintendo game, it should come to no surprise that Nintendo has included some sort of amiibo functionality for the game. The game only supports the Fox and Falco amiibo, and they both unlock a specific R-wing. The Fox amiibo unlocks a skin of the SNES R-wing, whilst the Falco amiibo unlocks a super powerful R-wing that can't take a lot of damage. They're nice little extras that aren't really needed to fully enjoy the game, and also you can unlock them without having the amiibos, so that's good. Sound-wise, the game borrows a fair bit of dialogue and tunes from Star Fox 64 to keep that Star Fox feeling. The music is your pretty standard Star Fox tunes, and they are pretty good, but all the characters' dialogue comes out of the gamepad speaker, so you'll have to turn up your gamepad as this is the only way to hear the banter from the characters. It's a strange decision, as it would have been nice to hear the characters through the TV, but hey. Visually, Star Fox Zero did receive some stick when it was originally announced for looking a bit plain and old, and while Star Fox Zero isn't the best looking Wii U title, it's no ugly duckling either. As playing through the game, you'll certainly notice some great looking vistas, though there is some frame rate trouble with the game dropping a fair bit below the target 60 FPS, which is a massive shame. Conclusion time. Zero is a welcome return to the Star Fox franchise, and while the controls are a bit iffy and certainly will annoy some people, stick with it, as Star Fox Zero offers some incredibly enjoyable space combat with plenty of vehicles and loads of replay value. Star Fox Zero is one of the better Star Fox games and is a great addition to the Wii U library. I'm going to give Star Fox Zero an 8 out of 10. Thank you for watching my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, rate and subscribe and keep on gaming. Bye!